Welcome back into the Coach Steve Show. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button on the YouTube channel, follow right on Apple and iTunes, and follow on Twitter at Coach_Steve72 on Twitter. Check out all the affiliates in the description below. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Of course, today's episode is going to be about why, if you're able to be a multi-sport athlete. We're seeing in today's day and age, maybe even before today's day and age, a few years back, we're slowly starting to see high school kids focus on one sport, and they're doing it for different reasons. And I think that we're starting to see other reasons outside of what they're thinking push them into this. Athletes need to be athletes. If your son or daughter is an athlete and they have any inkling to play another sport, if you're financially able to pull it off, time wise able to pull it off in high school, you need to let them be athletes. Athletes are athletes. Even if that other sport that they're doing is not the ultimate sport for them. And what I mean by this is if your son, he's a football player, he's out there and he is a football player. But then he plays basketball because he wants to be an athlete. Now he's not a starter on the basketball team. He rotates off the bench, still gets playing time, but he enjoys it and he likes playing basketball. You still let them be a sport athlete, multi-sport athlete. They want to do that third sport, track, baseball, volleyball, you let them try it. And if they like it, they do it. You need to start supporting that they're going to do other sports. Now, when I say be a multi-sport athlete, I don't mean you play football and then when football is over, go play the 7-on-7 travel. I don't mean when basketball is over, we go do this. I don't mean all these different things. If the kid wants to try a travel one time, cool. But when you look at people that get recruited in college, and I have factual interviews with coaches on this show that you can go back and watch, and I ask them, when you're recruiting, what are some of the things you're going to ask them? Everything's about grades. Everything's about attitude. Do they show up to the weight room with their team? How do they interact with other teammates? How do they interact with coaches? Are they jerks? And do they play other sports? And if you give them a bad answer to any of that when you're talking to them, they're not going to recruit the kid. Now, it doesn't mean that a one sport athlete doesn't get recruited. It does happen. But you're seeing kids quit sports to focus on one of them. You're seeing a lot of kids quit football or basketball to focus on baseball. You're seeing kids quit on football to focus on basketball. You're seeing everything. And I'm here to tell you that of all the people I coach, the athletes, whatever your definition of an athlete is, they're going to play multiple sports. It's okay to walk away from the sport you're playing. I played football, basketball, baseball, and then I tried track. So I did them all. And I can tell you this, when football season was going on, I loved football. When it was over, you were sad it was over, but a part of you was like, oh, it's over. Thank goodness. Then you transition and you go play basketball, which is different. I am working on different things. I am working on different hand-eye coordination. I am working on different foot speed, and I'm working on my running form because, well, quite frankly, I'm a lineman and you're not running out as much back then, and you're running in basketball. And you're working on jumping, you're working on this. There's different aspects of this. And I liked playing basketball during that time, but then it was over. You're like, oh, it's good, it's over. Well, then you transition into, well, I'm going to go play baseball. Different hand-eye coordination, different movement, different everything, different mindset, different mentality that you have. And you loved it when you're doing it. Then you're like, oh, good, it's over. And then during that time, you're finding the weight room. And then you get into the summer, you're doing the weight room, you're doing other things. And the next sport for me after baseball was over, yeah, sometimes I'd go do basketball stuff. But ultimately, I said, well, it's football season. That's the next one that's coming up. It was not in my mind. And I enjoyed it. Now, was I the best at baseball? Absolutely not. I decided my senior year to try out track and shot put and disc. So it was completely different. It was good to have that mindset of doing something different. Um, and people talk about injuries. Well, they can get hurt. I'm here to tell you right now. Yeah, I got bumped and bruised in football, but like I rolled and chipped my ankle in basketball. Yeah, my back kind of hurt in football, but then you're doing things in basketball to make it hurt. Like the most injuries I had in basketball more than I did football. And football has never been safer than it is right now. Just because of the equipment, how we practice, the trainers, everything is way safer than it ever was in football. But people talk about, well, I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to get hurt. Or they get told, well, you can't get hurt because you're going to do this baseball thing. You're going to do this basketball thing. We cannot allow kids to get burnt out. Coaches get burned out. I personally was just burnt out because I coach all three sports. You do extra things on the side, having conversations with kids, looking at their grades, you're game planning, you're looking ahead to the future. We're figuring out the football summer stuff, we're figuring out the basketball summer stuff. And I was burnt out. And like people would have a conversation with me, and especially if it was about sports, go right over my head in one ear and out the other. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that, that's what it was doing to me, but I was burnt out. So I can only imagine being an athlete and getting burnt out. That's why it was always a nice change of pace of doing different sports. And it was okay to walk away from a sport and then come back to it. Like those type of things need to happen. And these kids eventually are going to get burnt out. They're going to hate the sport they're doing, or because they're getting pushed to do college in that said sport, if they don't get to where they think they need to be, whether it's Division 1 or Division 2, whatever they think they're going to do, if they don't get to that point, it's going to feel like a failure to them. They're going to feel they're going to start hating the sport. And I'm not saying like if baseball is their best sport or basketball is their best sport, other sports help them get better at those sports. Look at kids that get recruited. It's a fact. The people that got drafted in any sport, the first thing they say is, well, this person did football, track. This person did all three sports. This person, some people play basketball and have gone to the NFL. Like these things can happen. And I'm sorry to tell you that some kids know when they're going to go Division 1 and some don't. Some may not happen until they're a junior. Some may not happen until they're a senior. And that's just what happens. Some are going to go be preferred walk on. Okay. And then some have that Division 1 failure or bust, and Division 1 is good, Division 2 is good, FCS is good, Division 3 is good, JUCO is good, NAIA is good. They're all fantastic. If you go play college sports, it does not matter what it is. It's fantastic. We need to celebrate it all. But I'm going to say this, and I don't want it to sound horrible. If you give up other sports because you're afraid of injuries and you go play Division 3, you would have been playing that sport at Division 3 that you would have if you would have played those other sports. Division 3 sports are fantastic. Division 3 football is fantastic. There's great Division 3 baseball. There's great Division 3 basketball. It is all fantastic. But do not give up an opportunity in high school. Well, it's just high school. No, an opportunity, because sports are not forever. You cannot play football forever. The closest thing to playing baseball forever is men's softball leagues. You can kind of play basketball, but it's never the same. Like, oh, I could play YMCA bad, but it's never the same. It's never the same. Sports can be taken away in an instant. That's why they're privileges. Even in YMCA men's leagues, you could go out there and, God forbid, knock on wood, get hurt. So if you have an inkling to play sports, if you have an inkling to be a multi-sport athlete, that will help you get put more on the map for recruitment. So if you're a baseball kid and you can play football and a baseball recruit's coming, guess what? It's more opportunity for them to find you because you're playing football. Then they can see other aspects of your athletic ability. Look how he can run. Look at the acceleration. It's different than running bases. It's different than this. Oh, look how quick his hands can catch the football. That's what they look at. But the other issue we're running into with all of this is the travel stuff, because they've become major big time money makers. Now, would I ever coach AAU basketball? Yeah, probably. But guess what? I'm not going to sit there and tell these kids, you have to always play travel ball. You always have to do this to get recruited. When I coach football, I'm promoting other sports to them. When I'm coaching basketball, I'm promoting other sports. And I'm talking about high school. If I was an AAU basketball coach, I'd be sitting there going, okay, that's cool. But guess what? I think you could do football. I think you could probably be a good baseball player. And you could work on your basketball skills outside of game stuff because you can get developed in practice and you could do things on your own. What happened to the days of, I wouldn't really do summer basketball because one, it wasn't as big as it is now. But two, I could walk to the park or ride my bike to the park, work on free throws, just find different spots to shoot from. I could do dribbling, just the basics of the basic, get friends together and we could play, go to the blacktop and play. I don't know where those days have gone, but they were about paying money to play games. And it's a big time money maker. You get to travel, which is awesome. But now you got coaches saying this is the only way to get recruited. Oh, look at the showcase because these college coaches, blah, blah. Play other sports and you put other film out there of yourself, they are going to be able to recruit you better. So athletes need to be athletes and they need to be multi-sport athletes. They need to be, unless they're just, no offense, absolutely terrible at it. But guess what? If they want to play it, let them play it because it allows different athletic abilities to shine and it helps other sports out as well. It makes you better at other sports. It's just a fact. Factual stuff is out there on this. And go watch other talks I've had with college coaches. It's factual that they want them to play other sports. Baseball coaches want them to do as well. It's the travel stuff that's I know some great travel coaches. You want to know why I know great travel coaches? Because they also coach in high school, so they understand it. They are just coaching the travel stuff because, yeah, they can make a little money, but then they can help develop, they can help promote other sports as well. And maybe they don't coach a sport during that time. If they don't coach baseball or track, that's not their thing, and AAU travel basketball is going around, fine, that's what they're going to do. Whatever it is, but they're coaching high school sports as well. I work with some, travel coaches. I work with some, and they're fantastic people and they're doing the right thing, but there are people out there doing the wrong thing. So let the kids play multiple sports. It's the best way to make them better people and better athletes. And it helps the high school out, which, no offense, is way more important than the travel stuff. It is way more important. It means way more to a lot of different people. Trust me. Thanks for watching or listening. Make sure you like and subscribe YouTube channel. Follow Ray on Apple and iTunes. Check out all the other videos. Leave a comment in the comment section down below as well. Do all that stuff for me. It helps grow the show tremendously. Thank you guys again for watching and or listening. This is Coach Steve, and we will see you guys next time.